Hi, my name is Jonathan Kim, and today I'll be speaking on behalf of our group, Group 11, and our presentation is based on air pollution in East Asia. So to get things started, these are some facts relating to East Asia. So to name a few, East Asia has a total population of 1.56 billion people. The region's development is heavily influenced by the Cold War, and tensions are actually still seen today in China and the Korean Vietnamese peninsulas. So like all other countries face problems, the cities in East Asia specifically experience many urban problems such as environmental degradation, migration, and income polarization. Their environmental strains come from increasing populations, rapid industrialization, and high consumption lifestyles. Environmental conditions or hazards affect all three levels of society, such as the local level, the national, and the global level. So focusing on the local level in this PowerPoint, on this part, air pollution at the local level becomes very personal, and it affects people directly because the toxic air pollution is very hazardous to the health of all residents in the area. So because of this, people are asked to stay indoors as much as possible, and schools are even canceled for students when the level of toxic becomes very high. The smog created from the pollution, it becomes very thick and heavy, heavy and thick, making it difficult for people to see. So visibility in the area becomes very low, and sunlight actually can't penetrate through the smog, making it difficult for plants to photosynthesize. And with the inability to photosynthesize, it's actually harder on the farmers because they can't grow any crops. So food is actually becoming a big issue for the people in the local areas. Air pollution at the national level. So air pollution has the ability to affect the country as a whole. And as mentioned before, it stems from the growing population, rapid industrialization, and high consumption lifestyles. So with such a way of living, comes the many consequences that can torment the country, such as negative effects on the economy, outrage from the people, and the suffocation of neighboring countries. The economy that, although may be in a good state, still faces problems regarding the air pollution because when the quality of the air is bad, flights cannot leave, agriculture industry is just not going to thrive, and tourism will decrease due to how toxic the air can be to a tourist's health. In addition to the economic effects, the people or the citizens of the area are outraged because the death are they're steadily increasing as a result of the polluted air. And while having the countries face their own pollution problems, many of them are having to deal with the pollution of their neighbors that intoxicates their air as well. So, for example, China has they have heavily polluted cities. And approximately every couple months, the coal factories and increased automobile usage in China have the toxins pumped out, where it then drifts across the East China to cities in Japan and South Korea. And one of the cities in Japan, Fukuoka, has to warn their citizens in advance to prepare and wear face masks or to remain indoors. The same process goes for the cities in South Korea. After much efforts have been taken in East Asia to promote the greener city, China still seems to be heavily polluted. And while on topic with China, moving on, China, with its almost uninhabitable condition, was said to be home to 16 of the 20 cities with the most polluted air, said by the World Bank in 2006. Although China's economy is skyrocketing with the increase of factories, power plants, and industries, the pollution and death rate are increasing as well. In addition to that, the air pollution alone in China is responsible for over 1.2 million premature deaths in the year of 2010. The cause of all this pollution comes down to a few things. So first off, the rising use of automobiles, such as an average of 2,000 cars being registered daily in Beijing. Secondly, the factories and industries that are creating clouds of smog. Thirdly, all the dust from the construction sites and the sandstorms that sweep through the cities. And lastly, China's heavy reliance on coal burning as an energy source. And in fact, China burns almost half of all the coal in the world. Now moving on to the global level, anthropogenic increases on fine particle matter, which includes dust, soot, and smoke, measuring less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, are the result of approximately 2.1 million premature deaths a year. Just because you can't see it doesn't make it any less of a threat. Fine particulate air pollution is particularly dangerous to human health because it can lodge deep in the lungs, causing cancer and other respiratory disease. A study led by scientists from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, NASA, and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill recognized East Asia as the deadliest world region. Researchers claimed East Asia had over 1 million deaths from PM 2.5 pollution and over 200,000 dying from ozone pollution. To put it into scale, the second most deadly place for air pollution is India, and nearly 400,000 deaths blamed on the inhalation of particulates and over 100,000 deaths each year due to ozone pollution. And continuing the global level of air pollution, data collected from over the past 30 years show that air pollution in Asia, primarily in China, impacts the upper atmosphere and adds strength to the storms and cyclones. China's economy during the last 30 years has led to the building of enormous manufacturing factories, industrial plants, power plants, and other facilities that produce huge amounts of air pollutants. Once the pollutant particles are released into the atmosphere, they are shown to affect cloud formations, precipitation, storm intensity, and weather systems worldwide, all of which, plus other factors, eventually impacts the climate. Air pollution solutions. So as you can see, East Asia is a major contributor to global and air contamination. Non-governmental organizations such as Greenpeace are working on campaigns to reduce sources of pollution. Remedies proposed to fix these problems include making air quality information readily available to the public, closing or moving polluting factories located in urban areas to more uninhabited locations, creating mass transit systems such as the subway to combat the rise of automobile use, creating emission tests to rid the country of polluting yellow label vehicles, increasing designation for parks and green space as well as walking or cycling paths, and finally developing planned eco-cities which incorporate green technologies such as low carbon and resource efficient heating. So in conclusion, as a region with rapidly developing urban centers, East Asia must consider the well-being of its citizens to ensure success. While these cities have some of the highest air pollution rates in the world, they are capable of adopting green processes to reverse their impact. Things such as moving factories, emission tests, and building more green space can all have a significant impact at the local, national, and global levels. Hopefully with increased efforts by the government and individual cooperation, East Asia will be able to lessen its environmental footprint. And that's it for our presentation today on air contamination in East Asia. We hope you all enjoyed the project and gained a little more insight on the effects of rapid urbanization and how one region can impact the whole world. Thank you for listening, and this is our resources page. Thank you.